Hello everybody, it is now officially TisTheSeasonAthon, and it started today. The readathon goes from the 2nd, which is today, to the 8th, and I have not read a single page. I mean, it could be worse. I could not have a TBR at this moment, but today I created my TBR, filmed it, edited it, and is now up and live for people to watch. It was a great day for filming because I ended up having a snow day. We ended up having a very big snowstorm. When I woke up this morning, we had at least 9 to 10 inches of snow outside, and then we were expected to continue to get more snow during the day. It's supposed to snow throughout the night and then finally stop tomorrow morning. So it started Sunday night, supposed to end Tuesday morning. We're expected to get upwards of like 12 to 18 inches once it's all finally said and done. But hopefully I'll actually get some reading done tomorrow. I'm working a double. I'm working at one job in the morning and my other job at night. So it's going to be a long day, and hopefully I can squeeze in some pages. Hello everybody, it is after my shift at job number 1 on Tuesday, and as you can see I'm right outside job number 2. That shift isn't supposed to start for another hour, but I'm definitely going to head inside because it's really cold and very wet and very snowy out here. The snow finally abated. The snowstorm is officially over. At least here's hoping that it is. Here's hoping I didn't just jinx the heck out of us. The only thing of note today is I did get some reading done while I was at job number 1. I had my earbuds in and I was listening to Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I don't know why I stumbled over that, but I did. So I actually really like listening to it. The last time I tried reading it, I'm pretty sure I finished it all the way through. I can't recall. But I know the story very well. I feel like this is a story that everyone knows very well due to like movies or short stories or whatever, or like just basically retellings of this story. So I'm very familiar with it. And when I tried reading it, it was very dry and very it's just tough to read simply because of the time it was written in. But listening to it as an audiobook is really nice. Especially this production, they have musical interludes and they have sound effects. Like granted, it's not a whole lot, and so it's not really heavy-handed. But it's very much a production, and I very much like it. I especially like the narrator. He's actually, he's making the jokes sound like jokes. And it's making the listening experience 10 times better. It really makes me think like what Ebenezer Scrooge was feeling when he like cracked a joke at Jacob Marley's ghost. There's more gravy than a grave about you. And at the time it just felt like a weird thing to say, but this guy is totally freaking out, and that's just I'm just gonna make conversation, and this is totally funny. I'm not worried at all. And now that I'm listening to it, I totally get that vibe now. Okay, so the last time I checked in was right before my shift at work, and now it's almost midnight. And you're not going to believe what I've done since I checked in. I started and finished this all in one sitting, or basically one sitting. So I did start this at work, and I just needed something to do while I was at work. But as I'm reading it, I got hooked onto the plot. Basically, this girl breaks up with her boyfriend. She's been dating this guy for a year. Surprises him by saying, "Hey, my parents went away for Christmas, but I'm staying in the area." And he sounds vaguely disappointed, and she doesn't quite get why until she goes to meet him at this party. And then she overhears him saying that he wished that she had not stayed. Of course, she's hurt, and she just goes ahead and breaks up with him. Goes to her grandmother's, distraught, because that's where she's staying while her parents are away. And the next day, her family, she's this massive family that everyone's over for Christmas besides her parents. They all plot with this 10 blind date scenario. Now, before I get to ahead, the reason why the parents aren't around is because the sister lives pretty far away, and she's pregnant, and she's actually having a really rough pregnancy, and so her parents go down to help her out and help take care of her. But the concept was just enchanting. I loved it. It was just so absurd. It was hilarious. When I say this family is big, this family is big. The grandmother, there's like 5 different aunts and uncles, there's like 20 cousins. It's just this crew staying at the grandmother's house for the holidays. The aunts and uncles and the older cousins all sign up for a slot for the date. And the concept is a relative picks the date, they pick the activity, and she just has to show up for the blind date. And some of them are kind of cool, some of them are lackluster, and some of them are straight up bad. But it was a fun, wild ride. This is something I would watch the heck out of. This would make a fantastic Christmas movie. And as she's going on these dates, she's like reconnecting with her family because it's been a while since she's had time to really like hang out with her family. And she's hanging out with like her childhood like friends. Like she has these two cousins that are basically her best friends, and her cousin's I guess neighbor was part of this crew. And she starts realizing like how important these people are to her, and it's just really nice. It's really endearing. It's really heartwarming. It was just straight up lovely. As much as I could not stop reading it, I don't think I'm going to rate this a full 5 stars. I know, I feel really torn about it because I was straight up addicted. Like, I needed to know how this was going to play out, like, right now. There's some flaws. Like, for example, there's these two twins. Her and the really close cousins call these twins like the evil Joes because one's Aunt Jolene and the other is Jolene. They both have Joe in their name, which is why they're called the evil Joes. And they just straight up mean. They're just mean with no explanation of why they're mean. It doesn't quite make sense to me. I wish I had more backstory on that. I'm going to sound like a terrible person, but I did not care for the side plot with the sister and the baby. It was important because it added drama to the story, kind of gave that story a little bit of depth, but I didn't care about it. Every time we like cut to the sister who was struggling for her life and struggling for her baby's life, I was like, okay, this is a lot of drama. I don't want drama. I want the fluffy cuteness of these blind dates. They're just such different situations that they didn't quite, I guess, meld well in this book. I feel like it could have been one or the other, but not both. Or at least not have the stakes so high with the sister. Like, it felt like whenever I would cut to the sister, it was just, I was starting to read something completely and utterly different. Like, it had a completely different vibe to it. So I think I'm going to rate this 4 out of 5 stars. I would reread this again in a heartbeat. Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday. Had a bit of a slow start this morning because I was up so late. I didn't even start getting out of bed until closer to 10 o'clock this morning. Like, I woke up at 8, but it wasn't until 9:30 that I finally, like, eased myself out of bed because I was really hungry. And even then, I was, like, really slow this morning. Like, my goal today was actually to at least edit and post one of my October reading vlogs. And I didn't end up doing that. I got the majority of the way through editing it, but when I looked up and I saw it was 1:30, I like went, crap, I need to leave. I had it in my head that I needed to leave by 1:45 to make it for my 2:15 train. That was incorrect. On Fridays, my train is at 11:15 and I need to leave at 11:15 in order to make it on time. And during the week, the train that I need to catch is actually at 2:36. So I easily could have left later than I did. So I practically ran for that train because, like I said, I still needed to get dressed and shower when I hit 1:30. So in my head, I thought I needed to leave by 1:45. I don't think I've ever moved so fast in my life. But I was ready and I left by 1:47. Ran for my train. And had the train been at 2:16, I would have just made it. But the train was at 2:36, so I just sat and listened to my audiobook for a little bit. Because I did have some time when I finally arrived here. Got myself a peppermint mocha. Really excited for it. I think this is my first one from Starbucks all season. I usually get a skinny cinnamon dolce, or I just make my own peppermint mocha at home because Starbucks doesn't have a sugar-free peppermint syrup anymore. But you know what? I ran for that train. I did a lot of editing this morning. I'm treating myself. I'm actually going to listen to my audiobook for a little bit. And in a way, this will count for that read a book while enjoying your favorite holiday treats. This is definitely one of my favorites. I probably will read a different book while having that hot chocolate that I mentioned in my TBR video. But we'll see. Good morning, everybody. So as you can see, I'm at the small branch this morning. Normally on Saturdays, I do usually work my shift at the main branch. But today, I'm covering for somebody at the little branch that I usually work on Fridays. Saturday morning, and it has been a couple of days since I last checked in. Last I checked in, it was Wednesday. I had said that, hey, I'm just going to enjoy this lovely peppermint mocha and read my book. I got really distracted by social media. So I remembered just in time before my last sip. And so I had a couple of sips while listening to A Christmas Carol. If I have to, I guess in a way it still counts. I think it's slightly cheating if I do that, but today is the 7th, and lately I've been feeling really slumpy, so I don't know if I'm actually going to get around to this challenge. So if I have to, I guess it'll count. But I am going to try to be a little bit better about it. On Wednesday during my shift, I actually did finish A Christmas Carol. I think I'm going to rate it 3.5 stars. Maybe 3. I've been thinking about it. Honestly, listening to it as an audiobook made it 10 times better than just straight up reading it. Listening to someone read it really made like the joke stand out, and I really liked the musical interludes that they had happen. But there are still points where this book was still incredibly wordy and incredibly dry, and it's because of the time it was written in. It's a classic, I know that, but I don't necessarily love it. So that is another challenge that we've completed. I think the only thing I've left now, because I did read 10 Blind Dates and A Christmas Carol, the only challenge I have left is to read a book with snow on the cover. On the way home from work, I was able to start Skipping Christmas by John Grisham, which has snow on the cover. I did not have time to read at work. Normally I finish all my chores by like 2-3 o'clock, and then I can read the rest of my shift. That did not happen. So I started it. I think I'm about maybe 20 pages in. I have to say this main guy is actually upsetting me a little bit. It's basically this couple that just gets real tired with Christmas, and so they skip it all together and opt for a cruise. And it's really the husband that's a bit of a grumpy Grinch. And the wife kind of like just tags along. And they opt for this because their daughter decided to do this humane mission trip, or whatever you want to call it, in Peru, like teaching kids how to read. She's going to be there for a year, and she won't be home for Christmas. And so that's why they were definitely more leaning towards skipping Christmas. So that's all I've done the last couple of days since I last checked in. I did finish another book, even though I've been feeling slumpy and not up to vlogging. But today's the 7th, and the last day for this readathon is tomorrow. And so we're going to try to complete these challenges before time runs out. Okay, so I didn't actually get much reading done as soon as I got home. I actually haven't done any reading since I got home. I ended up getting home maybe around 4 o'clock. The traffic going into the center of town to where I was, then leaving the center of town, there was a really bad accident, and of course we have Christmas shopping happening. It was a lot. So I was mentally like just too exhausted to read, and I didn't even do the editing I wanted to do. I started editing my Spooktober video, but I didn't finish it. So here's hoping I actually finish Skipping Christmas tomorrow. So it is close to 11 o'clock on the last night of this readathon, so we're going to make this quick because I have work tomorrow. So today's the 8th, which means this readathon is now over, unfortunately. But I did finish all of the challenges. So today, well, yesterday after getting home, after I got my haircut, as you can see, got my haircut, they didn't go as short as I wanted them to. I would have preferred it to have been here, but I did tell her I wanted it layered, but still, was the word I'm looking for, but still long enough to where I can pull it back, and she felt uncomfortable cutting it shorter than what she did now. And I don't blame her. For all she knew that I would have like lost my mind had she gone shorter. So she erred on the side of caution and didn't cut my hair any shorter, but my hair needed a trim, and so I got it. And when I got home, I was just exhausted. So we didn't do anything relevant for this readathon yesterday. And today, gave myself a holiday mani and pedi. It takes a while for me to do my nails. So I had Christmas movies playing as I was doing them. And it took a while, but then I finally sat down to read my last book. Skipping Christmas by John Grisham. Luther and Nora, there's this couple that like saw their daughter off to Peru and now they're home alone and they're like, you know what, let's just skip Christmas, let's just go on a cruise instead. They deal with their very judgmental friends and family for weeks until the night before they were supposed to leave. Daughter comes home unexpectedly and now they have to rush around to try to get anything set up for Christmas because the daughter is expecting to come home for Christmas. I felt vaguely bad for them and then not, because Nora and Luther, they're actually pretty terrible people. There's times where like, oh no, they're just flawed. And then there's times they behave in a way like, no, you're actually pretty terrible. Which made it hard to root for them or feel bad for them. Every time I would start to sway in their favor, they'd do something else. I'm like, well, I really should have saw that coming. The daughter comes home because she meets someone in Peru. She's engaged to this person and she wants to introduce this guy to her parents. Like, oh, he's a doctor. I met him on assignment here. He's great. You're going to love him. Then the phone call, and of course now they're rushing around to get things done. And Luther has this thought that's basically, wait, she met him in Peru. What if his skin is darker? And like, what? Why do we have this line? Why does it matter? Okay, so the cranks are low-key racist. Good to know. And that's when I like just stopped even thinking positively about this family. And when the doctor shows up and it turns out that he has very light skin, Luther is very much relieved. Oh. There was times where I can see how it was meant to be funny. The humor in it didn't necessarily speak to me. Cringy at times. But it did end on a nice note. Basically, Luther and Nora, they're like floundering. They don't know how to get Christmas up together within like the 4 hours that this girl gave them time for. And then the neighbors find out what they're trying to do. So even though they don't have the greatest relationship with their neighbors rally together and they get Christmas going. But I'm still going to rate this 2 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. So this here covers for a book, read a book that has snow on the cover, read a book that was a gift, because technically this was gifted by my employer, like I said in my TBR video, with our like book sale cart. If it's on the cart before it gets inventoried, we can totally just take it. So it was on that cart, I took it, it was technically a gift from my employer. I also finally sat down with a cup of hot chocolate, complete with peppermint, like creamer in it, loaded with marshmallows, one of my favorites, like wintry treats that I can make for myself at home. Sat down and enjoyed said snack fully while reading this. I didn't get distracted by anything else. I sat down, drank it, and read this book. So that challenge is actually now completed fairly. So trying to think what all the challenges were, because it has been a few days. I just know that I completed everything. I read the bonus challenge. I read a book that was a gift. I read a book with snow on the cover. I read something holiday themed. I read something that had something to do with music in the title, because A Christmas Carol had that element to it. I forget what all the prompts were. At this particular moment, I just know that I completed everything and I'm good. I'm good to go. So that's all I got for you guys. This was a really nice low-key readathon, especially in comparison to my readathon that I did in November and all the Halloween themed ones that I've done. This was really nice, and if I was going to participate in one, this was like the best one to do, I think. Okay, before I actually sign off for the night, I was actually about to get up and go to bed, hence the addition of the robe, but I just realized that how late I'm filming this video. This most likely will be one of my Vlogmas episodes. And with Vlogmas, I've been doing like sort of an advent calendar thing, so we're going to do that now. Alright, this will just have to do. Oh, okay, so if you've been watching my Vlogmas episodes, you know I've been getting real excited. This is nice, but I'm not super excited for it. It makes sense, though, that we'll finally start getting one of these. It's a Hufflepuff pressed ornament. If I can open this up without destroying it, that would be nice. And here we are. Okay, so now that is sorted, I'm going to go to bed now. Let me know down in the comments your thoughts on some of these books, or if you have a great holiday read you want to recommend me, please feel free to talk about that down in the comments below. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I guess it's ta-ta for now. Bye guys.